Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 225 of Your Take Two podcast. And the groundhog just told me you guys are going to get 6 more weeks of podcasts. So I have nothing else to say this morning, but Brian, welcome back. Make your big announcement, sir. The stage is yours.
That was the most topical joke we've ever opened a show with. It just happened like an hour ago. That was fantastic. We have a new listener, everybody. We got a brand new listener. Callan is here. I had my baby boy. He came 3 weeks early, which was a little bit of a shock. I will tell you, the best part of it was I was at our job, and the wife texted. She was at an appointment, and they're like, they think I'm about ready to go. You might need to be here. So I said, you got it, and ran out of our job.
Bye, work.
Yep. Said, see ya. And I texted the wife. She's like, you don't have to come that fast. I was like, that doesn't make for a great story. I'm telling people that I had to zoom home and fly there.
Yeah. That also is not the first time you've been told to not come that fast. I've actually had that same feeling at work before, so I do know that it's fantastic, and I love just being able to stick it to a man. Congratulations to you, sir.
Thanks,
I think you got to be happy that the baby came early based on our work situation.
Yep.
Like you said, getting out of there is great for you. So get the rest. You're going to need it, and congratulations. And I'm hoping that you already have like the 12-year photo set up with him and like a bottle of Macallan because that's your favorite. Like,
yeah,
so you've already got that set up. Yeah, I'm assuming 12 years. Probably because that's what you were drunk on when he was conceived, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, all those jokes will go on forever, and I'm not.
Yes.
When I told the wife, I said, so for his 8th birthday, I'm getting him the 8-year, and then the 10-year. She's like, and you're gonna drink them that night? I was like, yeah, to celebrate. Why not?
It's a great photo shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Before and afters. I don't look forward to the 25-year. That's going to be expensive and that. All right, there's something else that needs to happen before we move forward, and thank you very much. And everybody, all of the listeners that have sent nice things, thank you very, very much. Mom and baby are doing well. Everyone is great. He's happy. The reason the kid came 3 weeks early, buddy, is he was measuring out. Had he gone full term, they said he would have been over 9 pounds. He came out at 714. I was like, holy God, he was
big.
Freaking huge. I was like, that's a big boy. So we're kind of glad that.
Both of mine were early, and they were over 8 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, same thing. Yeah, we make linebackers, apparently. So
that's fine. Speaking of linebackers, I owe you. Your Cleveland Browns defeated my New York Football Giants quite some time ago, so here we are, folks. Yes. I owe this.
Yes.
Woof, woof. The dog pound is alive.
Nice.
I will be rocking the Browns hat for this, for paying up of this debt. Damn, the hat's actually kind of nice. It fits nice.
It looks nice. Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah.
What size is your son's head?
Probably nicer than mine because the kids bought this one, so they didn't really buy the top quality. That looks nice. So.
I like the 3930. That's like my style for hat. That new era 3930. So here we go. We're rocking the brownies. And I was going to tell you, you can have this when I'm done with it, but I have my life-size Christmas Story leg lamp.
There you go. Put it on top.
Here, down here in the studio. I'm like, Cleveland, it fits. It works. I'm just going to put it right there.
And you have that cardboard cutout of Baker Mayfield in your bathroom, right next to the lotion and the Kleenex.
So. That's sooner. Not a chance. All right, let's get rocking and rolling, folks. We have 3 big reviews for you guys this week. And then we have not a lot of the extra kind of things like trailers and glass and things. We don't have a lot of those, but we do have casting announcements, some really good ones in there. We have a lot of good news, some DC, some Marvel as usual, and then all of our fun stuff along the way. Patreon, folks. I owe an apology here. It is my fault, as we just discussed as to why you didn't get a Patreon last week. Sorry about that. I was unavailable. It was about 97% my fault. The other 3% we're going to blame on our job. And
there you go.
We'll go that route. But so we owe you one down the road, but we will be back on schedule going forward. If you guys are not Patreon subscribers, $1 a month is all it takes. There's a bunch of different tier levels if you want to get more. You get at least 2 episodes a month, unless one of us has a baby, which I'm going to speak for Tony here. Not happening. Yeah.
Done. Well, unless I can get some time off work, it might be worth it. It might be worth it to find a way.
But join today, man. Only $1. Patreon.com.
I think you should do a exclusive like photo post or something for our Patreons. So just they get that this month, an exclusive photo that only they get.
That only the Patreon members get?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
with the reason they didn't get it?
Yes. That's
we
what I
videoed
want.
the whole birth, so never mind. Disregard.
There you go.
Vaughn. Vaughn. Kevin, Chris, Lisa, Katz, Ryan, Roy, and Craig. You guys are loyal Patreon subscribers, especially Lisa. I was thinking about this when I was writing this down. Lisa is a literal day 1 Patreon member. We announced it, and the next day she was our first one.
And we never get like interaction from her on socials or anything like that. She's just there. She just enjoys it, and thank you for your contributions and continued support. But yeah, we just don't even ever hear from her. So please reach out.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Socials, guys, at Take Two Podcast for Twitter, Take2podcast at gmail.com. 434-602-1931 is the phone number. And then, of course, Instagram, Facebook, you can join all of those pages to follow along. Speaking of the Gmail, this is me again. I'm just apologizing and paying debts all day today. Chris has emailed us in the past.
Yes.
And I continuously I continuously promote, hey, guys, we've never gotten an email. Shoot us an email. He screenshot and said, hey, back in 2017, I did send you guys actual emails. It was from his AOL account, so I don't know if that counts because it was 2017, it was so long ago. So, Chris, I owe you an apology there, but I'm more so trying to get folks like, hey, throw us some emails, throw us some text, throw us some love across the board. Did you receive, I think it was him that asked where we rate and review movies on Letterboxd?
Yeah. So I think I got a new follower on Letterboxd. So I think he did follow that up and set up the Letterboxd. And we encourage any of you listeners, follow us on Letterboxd. I don't have my username. I think it's just TD81 or whatever is my username. So, but you can find us. Do we?
I don't think so.
I don't want to know what you rate movies. That's why.
Well, you find out here.
Exactly. But yeah, you can always follow us on Letterboxd and find out, because there are other things I log on there that I watch that maybe I don't talk about on the show as well. If I watch something old or whatever, so if you want to follow us on Letterboxd and catch up on some of our thoughts, or just you can search movies and see what we've rated them, which is nice, and then figure out if you jive with our take or not. Because actually, there's some times where I see Shy's ratings and I'm like, man, he was really low on this one or whatever. So it's kind of fun to have that conversation. I might like side text him and be like, why do you hate this movie? So please do that. Please follow us. Check us out on Letterboxd and start a conversation on that way as well.
I'll by the end of this in the show notes, I'll put our Letterboxd names on there because we both have to look up our usernames. Lastly on there, guys, in your feed right now, it was the end of the month just a couple of days ago, although all of our days are running together right now. But that means the end of the month, what do you get? A Realm. The Realm of Take Two drops at the end of every single month, and this one was good. I listened this month. It was long. It was in-depth. Roy covered a whole bunch of good stuff, some things that we talk about on here, like WandaVision, etc., and then all of his kind of things, his sword and sorcery kinds of things, and it's in your feed right now. Feel free to download that and give that a listen.
I know when I saw the breakdown of the episode, I was like, damn, he covered like 8 different things, I think, in this episode. So a lot of stuff in there, some of the old CW stuff that he still hangs on to, the Charmed and the Legacies, and some other new stuff that, like I said, you're not going to hear about it on our regular weekly show, so you might as well check out The Realm.
I'm debating the story right now. All right, you said CW. An old friend of ours is CW. I won't mention his name, but you'll know as soon as I say the story. Of course, we posted on the social medias that we had a baby and pictures of the child and whatever. He side messaged me with a picture of me holding said baby with the sentence, "Did you just have a baby?"
Okay.
And I know you now know who I'm talking about, because
not the most in-depth user of social media.
One of the nicest guys we've ever met. He has some quirky questions at times, like, do you guys still do a podcast, even though we work for you? By the way,
when you did the picture, you said you were holding the child. Were you like this?
Yes, sir. Yep. Hey, when did you get that? That's beautiful.
This was for my son. This is one of his Christmas gifts. So. Because we say that he is Baby Yoda because he always loves to eat soup. So.
For those of you listening right now, I feel we have failed to mention we're 13 minutes into the show here. Our YouTube is still working. We still do it. We haven't had many interviews lately or any of those things, but that's just because we've been busy bugs lately with off the field stuff. But for those of you watching right now on our YouTube channel, thank you. For those of you listening thinking, why are they talking about what they can see? It's because we are on YouTube. Go, subscribe to that as well, and you can watch a bunch of our stuff. And we'll get back into that interview stuff and do some more fun things with, on video as well going forward in 2021.
Yeah. So if you've ever wanted to know what my son's bedroom looks like, check it out.
All right, that's enough talk. Let's get rocking and rolling. Every single Thursday, you get a brand new poll that you can vote on. A lot of nope, I tried to drop a word. I couldn't do it. Intricate? Yep, that's it. A lot of good questions that Tony comes up each and every Thursday, and you can vote on it all weekend long. So, Tone, drop those poll results.
Well, I don't know if it's as intuit as a question this week because not as many people voted on it. You know, we did have a couple weeks of like a lot of activity, a lot of commenting, whatever. This one maybe was a little too niche, a little too small for people that they were like, I don't really care about your question. But I'm already in like Oscar mode. I'm already thinking about Oscars. I'm looking ahead because usually in a regular year we'd be like on the cusp of the Oscars. It would be like in a week or two. So.
Right.
I was just thinking, is this the year that Netflix is going to win an Oscar finally? We've kind of debated it on the show a little bit, talked about it on the show a little bit. It's never happened. You know, they've been nominated, but they've never won. And I just thought in this year of theaters being closed, everything's online, maybe this is their best shot, you know. So I threw a couple options out there of which movies maybe have the best chance. Trial of the Chicago 7, Da 5 Bloods, Mank. Those were all kind of big, high-profile releases from Netflix this year. And then my last question was, is it just not their year? You know, maybe something else will win because something like Nomadland has been winning a lot of the early critics' prizes, things like that. So not Netflix's year was the winner with 32% of the vote. Not surprising, I guess, but it was not winning at first. It kind of took over and skyrocketed throughout the weekend, so that was interesting. Second place came in with Da 5 Bloods. Third place, Trial of Chicago 7. Also kind of surprising to me because most things I've read online are like Trial of Chicago 7 is the one that could do it.
Okay.
Of any of the Netflix ones, that's the one that's like the most likely to be a Best Picture winner, similar to something like a Green Book or something like that, where it could slide in there, just be kind of the consensus pick, you know, the safe pick, and most people like it enough where it could just win, you know.
Sure.
So we'll see. I mean, I guess come April now, not February, but come April, we'll be able to find out what the Best Picture is. I was just trying to get that conversation started and think ahead, because then I was also thinking Amazon's got a couple players in the game this year too. You know, they'll at least get some nominations. So it's definitely going to be a very like online-y feel to the Oscars this year, you know, home streaming releases. So
we did 2020.
Yeah, we did get a couple other shout outs and mentions on Instagram. Chris said he would guess Trial of Chicago, but he didn't think it should win Best Picture necessarily, but definitely would get nominated. Ryan L. Terry over on our Twitter said it's tragic for the cinematic experience, so he hopes that it doesn't happen.
Okay.
That might be a little I don't know, dramatic, but we'll see.
You know, but Ryan, that's something that, you know, we could do a spin-off whole show discussing all about. You know, that's a whole topic where we could really break down. So it's thought-provoking.
And that's still to be seen, whether or not the cinematic experience will bounce back, you know?
Right.
And then lastly, on Instagram, I love this one because Netflix and Swill reached out, and their show is all about Netflix movies, and they're like, no, not going to happen this year. So I was surprised to hear them say no, but Dan over there is also a big Nomadland fan, so I think maybe he's kind of edging his bets that that's going to end up winning. So, yeah, interesting debate. We'll see. And I still got to figure out what I'm going to put up for this week, so I don't know yet.
You've got time. You have definitely time. You know, Mank should be the front runner here. Hollywood loves rewarding movies about Hollywood. You know,
yeah.
I just think the movie wasn't that great, and so
it didn't get received as well as people thought. And even that, like, you know, Fincher was like, oh, it's gonna be Fincher's year. He's gonna win director. The more I think about it, he is not the front runner right now. So
sure. Oh well, once again, folks, every Thursday that drops, and you have all weekend long. You can jump on all of our socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's where you can find the poll that comes out each Thursday evening, and then vote on there. Tell your friends to vote as well. All right, let's get into our big three reviews of the three movies that came out this weekend. We're going to lead things off with Palmer.
Yeah, one I was jealous that you were able to check out. I just did not have time, but we loved the trailer when we saw it, so give me your thoughts.
This is exactly what the trailer told me I thought it would be. This is Justin Timberlake trying to just establish himself as a solid dramatic actor, and he does a solid job. Storyline is pretty simple. He went away to jail. He did some bad things in his youth, you know, just out of college. Went away for about 15 years into jail. Comes back to his hometown. It's this small Louisiana good old boy town, and still kind of stuck in their ways and their toxic masculinity to a degree down in these parts. Moves back in. Next to his grandmother's home is a trailer parked right almost in their yard of this woman and her child just kind of living there. Now, the woman is a piece of garbage. She's gone all the time. She leaves. She just leaves the child. Like, we'll just bounce and I'm out of here, and then never comes back. Juno Temple, whom folks you might know from Ted Lasso, you, sir, yourself might know from Ted Lasso.
I was going to say, I just saw, yeah.
Yeah. She's in this. She does a good job. She almost takes that character of Ted Lasso and just adds some cocaine to it. and then kind of like goes that route. That's kind of like her trashy does the drugs and isn't responsible type person. So because she's never around, her son, her 11, 12-year-old son, always comes over to Timberlake Palmer's grandmother's house and stays there all the time. Played by June Squibb, the grandmother. She does a fantastic job here. I think June Squibb, like low-key underrated, always just does a good job. Everything she's in.
Yeah. I always love her. Yeah.
So Timberlake meets this kid. This kid is very effeminate. He loves playing with dolls. His favorite TV show is this fairy princess show. And of course, Palmer comes in. He went to jail for beating up some dude in a masculine thing at a bar, like all toxic man stuff. And now there's this kid who's obviously going to be gay when he gets older, and obviously going to be, all that kind of stuff. He's leading down that path. The kid wants to wear a princess Halloween costume.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of like eye openings, because then Timberlake's character sees how other people treat him, and then he realizes within himself, wait a second, I don't agree with what the little boy is doing, but that's just not right. This boy has the opportunity to choose what type of life he wants to lead, so therefore he now changes, and you see it. Beauty in acting is when there's no dialogue. And I think this is why this is one of Timberlake's better performances, because he doesn't talk a lot. There's not a lot of dialogue from Timberlake. Plenty, but a lot of his acting in this is very subtle, is very mannerism, is very facial expression. And that's why I enjoy it. This movie's good, not fantastic. You are intrigued to see how it goes. I will say I was kind of like, ooh, on the ending. It just kind of like cruises into the docks. Like, you're anticipating, where are we going to go, where are we going to go? And then it hits some high points. And then it just kind of like, all right, we're just going to shift into neutral and sail right in. And so, all right, cool. Alicia Wainwright, hey, easy on the eyeballs. I was not familiar with her, but she does a good job as kind of a side character and kind of helping things. She plays the kid's teacher and kind of helps things along. So it's just a film about different people, different views of the world, and how one can change simply by immersing themselves into somebody else's shoes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I still do want to check it out. Maybe it moves a little bit to the bottom of the list now that you've seen it and given it a little bit of a tepid, review. But I do want to check it out. And I haven't really seen anything pop out as far as, Timberlake could be in nomination game or anything, nothing like that.
My last note is, I think all of the reviews we talk about today is, we do this a lot because we're big award season-y guys, where it's like, oh, this performance was great, let's get him a nom. His performance was great, he doesn't need a nom. And that's allowed. That's allowed to be a thing, and I think we kind of forget that sometimes. And just your average movie watcher will watch it like, well, it wasn't Oscar worthy, but it can still be great. And I think that's where we land, or at least I land with his performance here.
Sure. Now I don't remember. Is this the movie that he was caught kind of with the cheating thing during this movie?
I believe so.
Remember when he was caught like cheating or whatever? I can't remember if it was this movie or not. So I almost felt like they were trying to like just kind of drop it and bury it. Like the way it was released was kind of very subtle. And
was it with Alicia Wainwright?
Yes, it was. So that's what I'm looking up right now. So yeah, it was this movie that they were
making.
It
was with her.
Yeah, okay.
They're both good-looking people. So, but yeah, but he and Beale are still together. Like,
they kind of reconciled
like,
over it.
Yeah.
So she was in Raising Dion, which was on Netflix, and also Shadowhunters. So I guess our Realm fans would know her from there probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really familiar with her work either. But yeah, that's interesting, and I wonder if that's kind of why it got the dropped release and kind of buried like off to the side, because it wasn't very big advertised anywhere either.
Outside of us doing the trailer talk, But the other thing, just to take note, Juno Temple, for Ted Lasso, follows up in this. She does a really great job here. She has a little bit of a character arc, which is fun. You see her emotionality and her acting, so keep a little eye on her going forward for whatever she does next.
Yeah, I've already been a fan of hers for years.
What else is she in that I should know? I've only seen.
She was in a show called Vinyl a few years ago on HBO, which was only like a one-seasoner and then got canceled. But she was great in that. She was on the what was that show? The one that they made the podcast out of. Dirty John or whatever. She was in Dirty John.
Oh, she was in Dirty John. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a couple things recently, and I'm like, man, I really like her in anything that I see her in. So, yeah, I agree. She's almost like a, what's her name, Garner from Ozark. Like, I could see her going down the same kind of path.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, fully agree. All right, let's jump into something that we both actually got to watch, and that is Little Things.
Yeah, sadly, folks, you know me. I usually watch like 10 things I bring you every week, but this week was very slim pickings for me. I had a long watch list. I wanted to watch more. This was the only thing I could get through, and I had to watch this in like 3 different chunks, too. I had to stop and come back to it, which actually might have made it better for me because this thing I thought was just very slow and kind of plotting and not super interesting to me. I think after watching it and reading about it, once you see the fact that this was written in the 90s and was never made since the 90s, it makes more sense. Because you watch this movie and I'm like, this feels like it was made 30 years ago. What is this movie? We're on payphones half the movie. Someone's using a pager. I'm like, what is this movie? This is 2021, right? Like,
Right.
and it doesn't seem to be a period piece. I'm like, where are they filming this? That they have payphones everywhere. I don't know.
I
For
mean,
me,
it took place in 1990.
the movie did.
Yeah. Like the opening scene,
Oh,
it says October 1990.
oh, really? I don't. I must have missed that then because I don't remember that. I was like, what is
Legit,
this movie?
blink and you missed it. But yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought if so, I thought that was like him on his original case, and then it went forward. No.
Oh shit, that could be right too.
Because I don't know, for whatever reason, for whatever I read, it said it was made in the 90s and it was kind of like pre-7, and I'm like, yeah, this felt like it wanted to be 7,
Oh, very much. It
but
has so many seven elements. Yeah.
it just didn't sell that at all, and I didn't like either character, Rami Malek or Denzel Washington. Didn't really care for either. Neither of them are redeeming as people, you know. I thought Rami Malek was terribly miscast. Horrible, horrible casting on this. He should not have been in this movie at all. I think his performance is hammy and shitty. Uh, I can't believe he's an Oscar winner. And we had 3 Oscar winners in this movie. And honestly, Jared Leto is the one that steals the show. And he's only in it for half the movie, if
Yeah.
that. So overall, not a huge fan. I think I gave it a 2 on Letterboxd.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my thought. I started to write notes and then I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna really care to write notes on this one. So that's it. What about you?
I wish I could argue you up. Maybe I'm at like 2.5. This is the best Jared Leto playing the Joker performance that he's given. Like this is a better Joker than Suicide Squad. Like this is the Joker that I like is that creepy psycho Joker, and like he kind of plays that here, and I was like, that's the Joker he should have played in Suicide Squad. He does do a great job for when he's on screen. I did really much enjoy the interrogation scene
Yeah.
with the 3 of them. I thought that was pretty good.
Well, and I wonder how much some of those things were ad-libbed by him. It seems very much like he had some ad-libby kind of stuff, which I like the pineapples and jalapeno, whatever. Like I'm assuming that stuff is not in the script, and I like that those moments
Sure.
were some of the moments where he shined for me.
I'm having a hot take here, and I don't want to say it. I just don't know if I enjoy Rami Malek as an actor. I don't know. I
No.
mean, I like Bohemian Rhapsody, but I
Yeah.
don't feel he should have won the Oscar for it.
Sure.
I was okay with the nom, but whatever. And there's just not other stuff that I've seen him like, yes, he was fantastic. I'm with you. You should have cast. He was creepy for the whole front half. He was kind of like weird and creepy and standoffish, and
Yes.
it just didn't make sense that then all of a sudden he's like, maybe you can teach me a thing or two, and that's a terrible Malik impression. And then him and Denzel are partners, kind of. But then they still
Kind
kind of
of.
have a tension between them, and it's like, why? I'm confused why there's a tension here, especially when it's explained that because Denzel left, you got his job. You should be thanking him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a weirdness there that I wasn't enjoying.
There really was. Like you said, there was no chemistry between the two of them, and they never really became like buddy buddy or whatever. And like I said, just none of them had redeeming qualities either. By the time you get to the end of the movie, you're like, oh, I don't like either of these people,
Right.
and we don't really have like a solid answer either going forward. It's like you could give me another movie, you could give me a sequel to this if you
Right.
wanted to, because they don't really resolve anything. I don't know, man. It was just, and I wasn't impressed with Denzel either. I thought he was just kind of there, like phoning it in to extent.
He
Rami,
chews
yeah,
gum
like I
great
said,
though. He can chew some gum, man.
Rami just, yeah, like the scene where there's a one scene where he like punches the glass in the car, and it just, I almost laughed. I was like, that just seemed cheesy. Like it didn't work for me. And I don't know if he's the kind of actor that's like, okay, he had a really good role on TV because he was great on Mr. Robot. It was perfect for
Okay.
him. And
Okay.
then Bohemian Rhapsody, it hit, and he did a good job doing an impression of somebody. But is that it? Is that all he can do with his career? Because I haven't seen anything else that I can say I'm impressed with him by.
Please, so, folks on social, tell us we're wrong there. Let me ask you this: this was written in late '80s, '90s, what have you. Do you feel the female characters were even in the original script?
What female character? I mean, there's really only one that gets any kind of arc to any extent.
Right, and I was wondering like, did they because Malik's the girls in his life didn't need them.
No.
And then the same with Denzel. We didn't need any of the scenes of him with the ex and hey, you should give your daughters. I'm
Yeah,
wondering if
yeah,
like
that wasn't
now
needed. The only
since
person that was needed was the in the morgue, whatever, the ME.
true, you didn't even need the
She's
detective who was from Parks and
oh
Rec.
yeah,
What's her name? Morales, Natalie Morales, right? So I'm wondering if that was a change, like over the last 30 years. They're like, we need to get some girls in this movie because otherwise it would have been seven or just guys.
yeah, yeah. It
So
probably was. Yeah, and that's the thing. Watching this, it doesn't feel like it's been updated. It feels like this is a stale old script that's been on the shelf since the '90s, and they're like, let's make something and get it out. Because
hmm
apparently Spielberg was originally going to direct this movie. I read,
Oh,
but
really?
he was originally involved, and he was coming off Schindler's List and didn't want to go down like a dark movie kind of path. But I'm like, I could not see this as a Spielberg movie. That would be so weird.
I don't know. I liked. I would say through like from the like 15-minute mark to 45-minute when it gets like really detective-y and they're like in the apartment. I was like, all right, I'm invested. I want to know.
Sure,
And maybe that's just me liking a good,
sure.
detective kind of mystery thing. But once they get out of the first apartment, and kind of get onto a trail, I don't know. I was just kind of like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
along for the ride too. We're in neutral.
sure. Yeah. And then, by the end, it tries to dump a lot on you just right at the very end. And it's like, I feel like you could have like maybe parsed some of that out a little earlier in the movie and made it more
Mm,
interesting for me to keep me going, not just dump 10 things at the end where like, ooh, look at this. See, this explains this explains that. Should have
right.
done, they could have done that a little earlier and maybe made some more explanation earlier where it would have kept me going. But this just, I don't know, it's fine. It's there. It's a thing. It doesn't do anything unique or new for this kind of genre, and it's really a waste of three Oscar winners.
Agreed all around. All right, there it is. There is our little thoughts of little things. Sorry,
Mhm.
folks. And again, hit us on the socials if you agree or disagree. We'd love to keep the conversation going. Last thing we're going to chat about today is The Dig.
Now I'm wondering if you can bring it home with some positivity here because our first two reviews have been a little tepid. I'm a little worried that this one might be also in that same range. So go ahead with it because we did see the trailer and the trailer looked okay. So what are your thoughts?
It's an interesting movie. I
Hmm.
will never watch this film again. You will watch it one time and never watch it again. It's
Yeah.
I was not disappointed by it. I was intrigued as to where we were going. This it's 1938. It's based on a true story of an excavation of Sutton Hoo was the land that was owned here by landowner played by Carey Mulligan. Ralph Fiennes and her are the leads in this. They both give Carey Mulligan and Ralph Fiennes performances. They're both fantastic. C. Mully has some health issues that she's going through, her character or whatever, and she plays that very well. Again, I'm sorry, I'm mad. You watched the two films, or you didn't watch the two films with child actors, and that's what
Ah,
makes me
see.
sick is the child actors.
Yeah.
Both films, I failed to mention this earlier on Palmer, and this one again. We have two good child actors, and both
Oh,
children
okay.
give very good. At first, this kid is just kind of background. Like the character is needed, but he's just there. But then he has a
Hmm.
couple of scenes where he actually turns in a little bit of performance here. So I failed to write down the gentleman's name. Sorry about that. But the kid does a good job. It's about that she hires an excavator because there's these mounds in her land, her big acreage of property that she has outside of Suffolk, England, and she wants to know what they are. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, these were probably Viking ships that crashed here years ago when the river was higher, and they came through and stopped, and now they're buried underneath all the soil." And so he starts digging, and then they find out that there's more. That's it, man. That's what the movie's
There you go.
about. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's just if any of them get nominated, I would say go watch this right away. Otherwise, just chill out, and one day you're like, oh, that's right, that movie was
Mm.
okay. I think I'll watch it. I don't feel Lily James needed to be in it. I don't feel her storyline needed to be in it. There's a
Okay.
whole romance and thing. I almost feel like she was added. I want to look up if her character is real because she definitely hammers home it's 1938, so she's definitely treated as a woman was in 1938. She
Okay.
gets hired to help on this dig, and the guy that hires her literally says to her, essentially, "What do you weigh? Like under 100? That's why I need you." And she says, "But I'm a doctor and I'm studying this." And he was like,
No.
"Cool, you're not going to fall through the rotted wood. That's why I need you." No other reason, So there's other instances in there where she's like, her name is Margaret, but she wants to be called Peggy, and people don't do that. They're just like, whatever, I'm calling you what you are, woman. So I'm wondering, like, if that character was just put in to kind of which was fine. She does a good job. Just wasn't necessary for the storyline.
Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
remember the one thing creeping me out in the trailer was the like Ray Fiennes and Carey Mulligan have a moment. It looked like where there was almost like romance kind of. Is that a thing that they pursue? Because I'm like, that doesn't look right. Like the age difference looks ridiculous.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Fiennes' wife shows up that night and saves the day.
Oh, okay.
Because we do
Thank
go
God.
down that route where you are thinking it. It's not for sure, but you're like, is there about to be? Because if there was, I'm with you. It would have ruined this film. It would
Okay,
have totally
yeah.
ruined it. Because
That was
her
the
whole
one moment that stood out in the trailer. I was like, that looks weird and creepy.
yes, yeah, and it would have been, but luckily it does not, and luckily both characters stay strong and whatever. I don't know,
Okay.
man. Folks, if you have any interest at all, I'm not going to deter you from it, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, go watch The Dig. It's fantastic.
I mean, your log line for it sounds like me in seventh grade, like trying to discover what these mounds are. So, okay, but thanks for your thoughts on the dig.
Zingers all day, folks. All right, guys, there's all of our reviews. Short one this week, but hope you like it. Three quick reviews for you guys, some topical things in there. Again, at Take Two Podcast for Twitter, 434-602-1931. That is the number you can text or leave a voicemail there. Facebook, you have the regular Facebook page, and then you have the Take Two Universe. That's another Facebook group page on there. Jump on there. We share a lot of fun stuff on there, conversation in there. More of like the topic-y stuff, the headlines we put on the regular page. But if you want to get some combo going, join also the group page and jump on in there. Follow us on
There you go.
Instagram as well. We are going to take a quick break and be right back.
And we are back. And let me tell you, I had a chance to watch something else this week, but it's not really worth a full review. But we had mentioned it, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago that they were coming out with a thing on Disney Plus called Pixar Popcorn. So I sat
I watched
down
these
and
too. I watched these
oh, okay.
too.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
sat down and watched it. It's what, 10 episodes, I guess,
Yeah.
and they're all like 2 minutes or so. There's one that's maybe like 5 minutes. They're all really short, but I was intrigued because I was like, this is cool. Pixar's putting out some shorts, all based on their regular properties we already know. You had Toy Story, Finding Dory, Soul even gets a short, The Incredibles, Coco, a couple other Toy Story characters, Cars, Incredibles. So I was like, this is cool. I love all these brands. They're fine. They're cool, whatever. But the biggest problem is they don't talk. There's
Yeah.
no talking in any of these. I was like, this is weird to just watch these characters like not talk. So
Sure.
the best ones were, I think, Ducky and Bunny, where you had Key and Peele
Right.
actually talking, and I'm like, okay, now I'm actually into this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So I don't know if that's just because of like COVID, and they were like, oh, well, we can do the animation, but we're not going to bother getting the voice work and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. It almost felt a little incomplete on some of them for me.
True.
But
True.
but I mean, if you're a fan of all these different characters and Pixar stuff, it's worth checking out, especially if you have little kids.
Yeah.
We just did that. We watched Wanda last weekend, and then we were like, oh, Pixar Popcorn. We just sat there and watched all of them pretty much back to back. So I don't know. Did you get the same vibe?
We're going to talk a little more Wanda later in our Marvel Minute, folks, so stay tuned for that because I need to talk Wanda with you.
Okay.
But I got the exact same vibe. This is one of my issues with Disney Plus. In between these episodes is 20 seconds before it plays next ep. Sorry, my 4-year-old's not waiting 20 seconds for you to
Yeah, click
automatically
the
play
button.
the next.
Click the button. Come on.
Right, but I don't want to. I want like 5 seconds, and then it goes.
Yeah.
That's my issue with Disney Plus. Like, make it 10, so that way, if I'm not available at the button to hit. No, I'm with you. They were fun. They were cute. Nothing great. The little kids will like them. Whatever. I thought the Incredibles cleaning the house one might have been my favorite one. That or Buzz doing the calisthenics was just kind of
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was cool to see like Coco and Soul, at least some of the newer ones that maybe we haven't gotten any other shorts out of or whatever. So I
sure.
don't know. They're fine. Like I said, if you have little kids or whatever, you want to kill 15 minutes, go check them out. You can watch all of them in no time. So
Soon, folks, you will be watching these actors in these performances. Let's jump onto the casting couch.
this is interesting. I don't know if you saw this, but was that a rumble above you? I heard
I
that.
hope it was my dog.
That was the baby falling.
If it was the baby, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
He's running around already.
Okay. This is interesting though. We just came off of this whole Wall Street, Reddit, stock thing happening, and everyone went crazy and bought their GameStop stock and all that stuff. They've already cast Noah Centineo to be in a film about this for Netflix.
What?
Yeah, based on just a book pitch by the author who wrote like the book of what was it, Accidental Billionaires, about Social Network. That like that's what Social Network became, was his book. So he just came up with a book pitch, and they're like, "Yes, we like that. We're gonna make a movie out of it, and this kid's gonna star in it." And I'm like, "How did that happen so quickly? So weird." We'll get into it a little bit later in Hollywood News, but there's another project also already ramping up about this. So they're not wasting any time getting this big news story, going. So.
Nice.
Sticking with Netflix, they kind of gave us some of the cast for the Sandman series, which a lot of people have speculated, like, is this a real thing? Is this actually happening? So they are doing a Sandman series. They released some of the cast. So Gwendolyn Christie is going to be playing Lucifer. That's one of the bigger names on here, as well as Charles Dance will be on here as well. He was in Game of Thrones with her, and Boyd Holbrook. Now, that's where I kind of alluded to you before the show. I may have willed something into happening this morning when I was taking my notes, because I wrote down Holbrook and I wrote down somebody else's name first, and then that will come back in our news as well later. So
teaser. This is so much fun.
J-Lo also gets a starring and producing role in The Mother, coming to Netflix again. Netflix has a lot of news this week, and this is like a female assassin protecting her daughter, one of those kind of movies. Written by Misha Green from Lovecraft Country, the writer there for that. Directed by Nikki Caro, who did Mulan, the Mulan reboot. So look out for that. A little J-Lo action.
We're going to talk about Misha Green a little bit later in the news.
We will. That's right. Good tease. Zach Braff has been cast as the co-lead in the Cheaper by the Dozen remake for Disney Plus. With Gabrielle Union. We already announced her before. So that's coming in 2022 to Disney Plus, and that's from Kenya Barris, the creator of Blackish. Cool. This is just kind of fun. I don't know if it's really casting or not, but Great Celebrity Bake Off has a charity event going on British TV, and Daisy Ridley and James McAvoy are in there. So I was like, oh, well, some pretty big names for Celebrity Bake Off. That might be actually kind of fun to check out. Timothée Chalamet is reuniting with Luca Guadagnino, directing a project called Bones and All, and it's also going to star Taylor Russell, which if you haven't seen Waves, go watch Waves, people. It's a really good movie. Taylor Russell is in there. I really liked her, and I think she's like another up-and-comer that we need to watch for. So I'm a little intrigued by this movie. I like the Chalamet. Sounds like an interesting project. What you got going on?
Nothing. I was just seeing how the Browns hat looked on my head.
Okay.
The wife's going to hate it. She thinks I look terrible in the color brown in general.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Like when we got serious, she was going through my closet and she was like, I don't really like these shirts.
Let's get rid of these.
That was one of my tapes.
Yeah.
I still have
a bunch of American Eagle polos.
That was a direct jab. You know that I still have American Eagle. Anyway.
All right, a couple more here. More Netflix news. John Boyega and Robert De Niro are going to be in a movie called The Formula. And this is directed by Gerard McMurray, who did the first Purge. He's done a couple other things. I guess it's about like a Formula One race car driver. So I'm guessing Boyega must be the driver there, not De Niro. Another big, one of the bigger casting announcements of the week is this show called Solos, coming to, is it Solos or Solos? I don't know. Probably Solos.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, coming to Amazon. It's going to be 7 parts. So I think each episode, it's going to be kind of different people in each episode. That's why we have such a big cast announcement. Morgan Freeman, Anne Hathaway, Helen Mirren, Constance Wu, Uzo Aduba, Nicole Bahari, Anthony Mackie, Dan Stevens. That's a lot of big names there. So look out for that one. I always like a good anthology type series, so that should be good.
Is this Hathaway's third?
Yeah, maybe. She was in that Love Life or whatever, right?
Yeah. Oh, and I think I'm thinking of her in one of the compilation films that we talked about. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be easy work for, not easy, but good work for an actor to get in there, just do kind of like a quick segment.
Yeah, just a one ep kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Sticking with Amazon, Nicole Kidman is going to be in an Amazon series called Hope, and this is based on actually a movie that's been submitted for international feature this year. So we'll see how it does at the Oscars or whatever that movie, but this is going to be a TV adaptation of it for U.S. audiences. We have Naomi Watts in The Infinite Storm, which is based on a true story of a woman who was caught on a hike on a mountain when a blizzard hit. So that should be interesting to check her out there. I always like the Naomi Watts.
Sure.
Future Spotlight. I think eventually we'll have to get to a Naomi Watts Spotlight.
I have a hot take on a film that I felt she should have gotten a nomination for.
The Ring? No.
No.
Nev Campbell is going to be in The Lincoln Lawyer as a series for Netflix. So that's interesting. I don't know if she's taking on the title role, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
And then last for me is Josh Duhamel. Josh Duhamel is going to be replacing Armie Hammer in The Shotgun Wedding with J-Lo. So, obviously we talked about last week, Armie Hammer having some problems off the field there and social
Yeah.
media stuff, making him a little bit of a toxic person to have around. But I think this is actually a better casting anyways. Like, because Armie
Sure.
Hammer's in his early 30s and J-Lo's 51, but Duhamel is 48. Like, it makes more sense to
Hmm.
put them together instead of the big age gap.
Agreed.
So I think it worked out nicely for everyone involved. But I think that's all my casting. Did you have anything else? I had a lot.
Well, I do. More Army Hammer coming up in the Hollywood news segment later. The Suicide Squad spinoff by James Gunn,
Yeah,
Peacemaker.
yeah.
8 episodes that they're doing on HBO Max. Elizabeth Faith Ludlow, who we might know from Walking Dead, and then Rizwan Manji are going to be or have just been added to the cast. I don't have anything towards
Yep.
their roles, but they're rounding out their cast. The Power, an Amazon, again, lots of Amazon today. 10 episode thriller series had Rainn Wilson as its lead. He has dropped out, and they're replacing him with Tim Robbins.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. What has Tim Robbins done? He's been recently.
I don't know. And what role had Rainn Wilson that now we go Tim Robbins?
Yeah, that's weird. Rainn Wilson's one of those people though too. It's like he doesn't really get a ton and was kind of, after The Office just kind of tailed off and he's very small stuff here or there.
Yeah, yeah. And then a movie called Adrift has Jared Leto, who we just spoke about a little bit ago, is
Oh,
going to be in there. And then Aronofsky is going to be writing it. So a little
that's
Requiem
right.
for a Dream reunion there.
That's right. That was one of the ones I told you I lost some of my notes on the way and I do remember that one now. So yeah,
And
I'm kind of excited for that.
especially because also producing is Blumhouse.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, I love Requiem for a Dream. So getting them back together, I'm all for it.
That's going to wrap up our casting couch. All right, folks, here we go. Superhero Secret Cinema comes out every Saturday. And this week, the voting was maybe something was up with our internets or something because we didn't get many voters on the Superhero Secret Cinema either. Many
Yeah.
responses. Katz, he chimed in and said that I'm just making up names at this point,
Well,
which
he
I wasn't.
eventually got it right. He eventually got it right. He did.
Did he come around? Oh, see, I missed that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. He followed up in the. I think he slid in the DMs there and said he wasn't sure which one you were referencing, but he knew the series.
You know what? You're right. I saw that he mentioned the second one or what have you. But so Dr. Erskine, Mystique, Cletus Cassidy, and Dr. Zola. Now here's the thing. Cletus Cassidy was the part where I was going to try and throw people off because I was going to put Carnage, but he
Hmm.
hasn't technically turned into Carnage yet.
No, he's just been
So
wearing the bad wig so far. That's it.
right. So that all those actors are Stanley Tucci, J. Law, Woody Harrelson, and then Toby Jones, and they are all, of course, in Hunger Games
Yeah,
together.
but Katz was right because which movie is it? Because I don't think is Toby Jones in. He is in all of them, isn't he? Aren't they all in all of them?
So I haven't seen all of them, but I know he was
Yeah.
in at least the first one. Yeah,
Yeah. So I was like, I guess you're right. We could say which one, but the
sure.
series overall, Hunger Games. And then I saw Sam also had posted on the answer the sticker, and so he was actually the first one to get it right.
Boom. Good job, Sam. Craig never counts, but either way, he texted
Oh,
in.
he followed it up, of course. Yeah.
He was in there. He got his answer in, but I don't know why I don't count Craig East because
Yeah, that's all right.
he's Craigie. No, Craig
Yeah.
counts, and he's a host of a podcast himself. If you guys like wrestling, check out the T3 Pod Network for the Craigster. Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and be right back. So, can I tell you while we're in the hospital, it was like first world problem type thing. We had so many nurses checking in on us. Our son had to go to the NICU for a little bit. There was a mild, scary situation for a moment, but we had so many people checking in that we got to a point where I was like taking a bite of food. They're like, hey, just checking. I was like, okay, hi, we're good. Mask back up. All right, we're good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Then put it down, mask down, go take a bite. And I was like, hey, let me call my parents real quick. As soon as they call, they come in, hey, just want to introduce you to nurse number 7. She's going to be checking on. So the wife and I
Yeah.
are like, we can't be mad at this. These nurses are being fantastic. Everything about it was great. They're being helpful. But it's like, do we get like a do not disturb for like 4-minute sign like to put out there?
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
zero
I
complaints.
remember. Yeah, no, I remember my wife feeling the same way because even overnight they're coming in checking your vitals, things like that, and it's like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
just let the lady get some sleep.
Did you sleep on the couch? Like
Yeah, the little like kind of pull out chair or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so ironic, isn't it? Because you didn't pull out, you end up on the pullout.
God, he's full of them today, folks. Boom! Can't stop him. It's just so awkward. I'm in there sleeping, and I can hear like a random person come in. I'm there, drooling, snoring, or whatever. I was like, all right, I don't want you to see me sleeping for some weird reason.
Yeah.
All right. Enough baby talk. Let's move on to some Hollywood news.
All right. I hate to bring down the room here, but we had a big RIP section this week, so I want to start off with that. However, I will say at least 3 of them were in their 90s, so well done, good run, full life. And the first one I was saying that I think I willed into existence is Hal Holbrook. Hal Holbrook died this morning or overnight.
I missed that.
So Cleveland native, and I think most people might remember him from Into the Wild. Into the Wild was kind of his most recent kind of big performance that he was in, the Sean Penn movie. He's a good actor. He did the whole thing earlier in his life where he did a series of like one-man shows where he was supposed to be Mark Twain, and that was kind of his calling card earlier in life.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But yeah, when I was writing down the news earlier and I saw Boyd Holbrook, I wrote down Hal Holbrook originally for my casting notes. And then this morning I woke up and I was like, damn it, did I make that happen? By putting down his name wrong on my paper? Like, it was so weird. I was like, do I have the power of the pen? What is this?
Pen is mightier than the sword.
The Stephen King movie or something. All right, so moving along, Cloris Leachman, she passed away earlier this week since we recorded last time. She was also, so Hal Holbrook, 95, Cloris Leachman, 94. And I forgot how many things Cloris Leachman was in. Like, of course, I remember Young Frankenstein, that kind of jumps out. But she was in Bush and Sundance when she was younger, Last Picture Show. Like, she's been in tons of stuff. So just a huge career for her.
I would say her age, obviously people were putting out their well wishes or whatever, thoughts and prayers type thing. And like some older actors were like, I looked up to her, inspiring me to be an actor. I'm like, you're 60 something. And I was like, dang, she was in her 90s. Like, started early and inspirational. So
Sure.
Bummer.
And then we also lost Cicely Tyson, who was 96. And kind of most recently, I know people remember her from The Help, maybe, but I was remembering her from The Roots. I watched Roots when I was a kid, and that was kind of my first introduction to her. So yeah, all 3 of them, in their 90s, huge long careers, big bucket of win, as Kevin Smith would say. So, and then lastly, I don't know, I'll leave this one to you because this is your era here, your thing. So go ahead, give us the last one.
It's. Bittersweet's not the right word. It's the guy's name has not been in the news positively over the last 10 years, right, for some off the field type of things. But at the end of the day, Screech was iconic to our childhoods,
Sure.
and I've been rewatching the series with my daughter, and she cracks up every time he does something cheesy and goofy. And I remember as a kid, like watching Screech do some goofy, cheesy things and kind of emulating that at school. Like, what kind of laughs could I get away with being like that overly dorky type of guy? And so it was a bummer. Dustin Diamond, 44 years old. He lost his life to cancer. They took him off the ventilators. And I remember, I think it was on Thursday, maybe they came out with, hey, he might not have a lot to live here, maybe a few weeks left. And people are like, whoa, this is serious. Because I feel like we live in an age now where you hear someone has cancer, it's not a damning thing right away. You're just like, all right, thoughts and prayers.
Not like it used to be, maybe. Yeah.
Sure. But at the end of the day, we lost Dustin Diamond and all the laughs and good entertainment he gave us as children, and that's a bummer.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I said it like a 3-week battle. That was it. Like he was diagnosed like stage 4, and that was it basically. And yeah, we were kind of speculating earlier in the year, like why wasn't he called up for the Saved by the Bell thing? And maybe this is why, as part of it. Besides, like you said, the negative news off. But it sucks that he just never really had a career outside of Saved by the Bell either, like was just pigeonholed into that role and just never could really get anything else out of it. But yeah, He will be remembered forever for being Screech, especially for people of our age and our generation, because when I opened Facebook, it was like first like 10 people were all talking about it, and it was just a big deal for us. So,
and a weird sentence to say, but I kind of hope this is why he didn't do the reboot.
Yeah.
We speculate the reason he's not there is because they're all not friends with him anymore. And the negative stuff that he's been doing, they put him off. Now, granted, I follow every cast member from the original Saved by the Bell's socials, and they all had, crazy things to say, about him, whatever. Read into that as you may. But I almost kind of hope like this is the reason why. Like it wasn't because of the negative stuff. They would have had him on, but sadly he couldn't because of that. Maybe paints his name in a little bit of a better light. So rest in peace, Screech. That is a major bummer. All right, let's try and bring things back up. What you got for me?
Well, we had talked earlier about they're doing a Wonder Years reboot
Hmm.
and doing it with a black family in the 60s and in the South and kind of taking that angle of it instead. That
Oh,
has
really?
officially been picked up for ABC, so that will be an ABC show. I guess this was kind of like pilot season in a way because a couple other announcements
Yeah.
came out. A pilot order was given to national parks by ABC as well, and this is a Kevin Costner production, so
He's
similar to
writing it, right?
Yellowstone. I
Is he
think maybe
writing it?
like I like co-writing because I think it was based on a book to begin with, and it sounds like almost like the national parks version of like something like NCIS or one of those. Like it's going to be a procedural and like
Okay.
these people that investigate the crimes in national parks. So
All
could
right.
be interesting. I'm sure your parents will watch it, but it's on ABC, not CBS. So
Ugh. That's when they get a little wild. They'll go over to
yep,
ABC.
yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could do that one. So I'd stay up after 10 o'clock to watch that one. All right. Did you see? This was kind of fun. Did you see that the Hollywood sign was briefly changed this weekend?
No, I
Yeah,
missed it.
yesterday, a couple men were actually arrested in the process of covering the W and the D with B's.
Hollyboob?
Hollyboob. So he had a
Hollyboob?
Hollyboob sign, yes. And they 6 men were arrested for trespassing. They were able to stop them from totally changing it. I think they only got the first B in place. By the time the second one was going up, they were able to apprehend them. So good
Do
job.
they? They just wanted to change it to boob? Like, are they 14 years
Hollyboob,
old?
man. Yeah, Hollyboob. I mean, because it's happened before. They changed it to Hollyweed once before. So
Yeah.
people like to mess with it. So.
Oh, the teenager in me
All
is
right.
cracking up. Good for them.
This is kind of sad for me. I had the chance to participate in Sundance this weekend because they were doing all virtual. You could go on and buy some screenings or whatever. I was looking into it, but just because of our work schedule, things like that, I was not able to really do it.
Yeah.
So I was very down about that because I've always wanted to be part of Sundance.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of huge kind of movies this year, though, like real big ones people were talking about, some smaller kind of indie stuff. So it's still going on right now, but some of the news that came out of it so far is the movie Coda came out of there, and Apple has already snatched it up for 25 million, one of the biggest Sundance acquisitions yet. So Apple trying to have a big weekend with Palmer and Coda. They're trying to make their name known here. So good job.
Very nice.
Uh,
Very nice. To
I
add
talked
to
about.
that, a little part of my
Oh,
news,
yeah.
but just to add to that, so we don't go. It was their most watched weekend ever this past weekend because
Really?
of Palmer. Yeah.
Oh, because of Palmer. That's right. I did see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think Apple, like low
Trying to
key,
step it up, man. Trying to step it
they're
up.
getting out there. They had Ted Lasso. They had the morning show. They had
Wouldn't that be
Evans's.
something if like Apple popped up and was like the first Oscar winner? Netflix would be like,
That would be furious,
oh,
furious. Son of a beach. You kidding me?
yeah. We kind of alluded to it earlier with the GameStop kind of Wall Street movie. There's a
Hmm.
series also in the works called To the Moon because that's what a lot of the memes and stuff were
Yeah.
To the Moon, whatever. So the series is going to be called To the Moon. Not really any other info on that so far, just that it's been greenlit and it's going to focus on that Reddit Wall Street thing. So interesting. CW setting up another backdoor pilot spinoff here, and this one's going to be called Homecoming from All American. So you're the
Ooh.
All American fan. There's a character on there called Simone Hicks. I'm not familiar with the character.
Okay. No.
Female on the show, so they're
Yeah.
going to set up a spin-off show for her called Homecoming. And apparently this season they've already filmed the kind of the backdoor pilot that will be episode 3 or 4, whatever it is in the season, will be the backdoor pilot for what they hope to be a spin-off. So CW trying to keep their stuff going with some backdoor pilots and some spin-offs. We'll see.
Okay. I like the All American, so we shall see.
We are getting a Sonic animated series on Netflix in 2022 called Sonic Prime.
Groovy.
We are also getting a Skull Island and Tomb Raider anime series. Both of those have been greenlit at Netflix. So lots of Netflix animated stuff coming your way.
Cool.
We are in talks to get a Frasier revival, which that had been talked about a while ago.
Right.
But I guess now they're talking it up even more. Maybe stuff has moved forward with this Paramount Plus. They're trying to relaunch CBS All Access as
Mm.
Paramount Plus now, and they're going to try and get into the original content game, just like Apple and Peacock and all those other things have done. So
Mm-hmm.
another streaming service. Do you have to do this? Do you have to get Paramount Plus now as well? I guess if
For,
you're a fan of Frasier, maybe
for
they'll get
Kelsey
you.
Grammer and David Hyde Pierce to come back? I don't.
Yeah.
Are they
So
involved?
nothing official yet, but Kelsey Grammer has been on record in the past saying he's game for it, and there's been talks about it and all that stuff. So talks are continuing, I guess is all we have at this point. But the relaunch of Paramount Plus is coming in March, so we'll see what they have to offer.
Did you ever
There's
watch
talks.
Frasier?
No, I watched Cheers when I was a kid, but that was just because my parents kind of watched it,
Sure.
and then I never really followed the Frasier. I don't know.
Yeah, same. They love the Cheers. I watched Frasier, but if I missed an up, it wasn't the end of the day. It
I
always
like the
blew my
song.
mind.
Isn't the
Yeah,
song
the
like
scrambled eggs. Yeah, it
Good
always
song.
just blew my mind that it was like number one, however many years in a row. It just like dominated the sitcom ratings. I was like, really? I like the show, but I don't know.
I just realized the whole show needs to be scrapped because you never turned the on-air sign on. So
What?
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I didn't know we were on air. I didn't know we were recording. There's talks about a direct sequel to Cloverfield finally, like actually to the first movie. Not we've done these other spin-offy kind of movies that are in the same universe, if you will. But now they're talking about J.J. Abrams, Bad Robot, and Paramount greenlighting being involved in an actual direct sequel to the original Cloverfield, which I like the original Cloverfield. I'd be all for that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
LeBron James is developing a HBO series based on Serial Season 3, which focused
Courtside
on
Karens.
focused on the Cleveland justice system. So makes sense there.
Not Courtside Karens.
No. Based
Did
on
you
the
see
Cleveland
that?
justice
You saw that,
system.
right?
No.
Oh, he got into a fight with a lady at Courtside last night.
I
Got her
try
kicked
not
out
to
of the game.
Yeah, I try not to
And
pay
this
attention.
25-year-old blonde bimbo-ish thing. And so he went afterwards and trashed her and said, I can't deal with these Courtside Karens, blah, blah, blah.
If it was last night, I didn't see it. I literally woke up and came and saw you. So.
Oh,
All right, you alluded to it earlier, Misha Green. Maybe this is the news you had. She's writing and directing in the next Tomb Raider movie with
ding, ding.
Alicia Vikander returning as the role. So this isn't a reboot or anything. This will actually be a sequel to the Alicia Vikander, which that movie was just okay.
I liked it. It wasn't phenomenal.
No.
I
Tomb
liked
Raider
it. I
just
guess
seems, yeah, Tomb Raider just seems tired though. Like, why are we doing this still?
True.
Whatever. We're getting a Harry Potter live action series possibly at
News
HBO
that
Max.
dropped the second we stopped recording last week.
Yeah, I almost forgot about it. I wrote it down. That's why we're getting to it so late in the news here because I forgot about it. I didn't see a lot of detail, did you? But just that they're hoping to do this for HBO Max. So
Okay.
I think that's huge for them. People that love Harry Potter are going to love that, and that's a huge get. And I bet you'd see some jump in subscription once that does, kind of finally come around.
I guess it'd be cool if you did like don't give me Potter, Hermione, what's the other, Ron. Like do all about like.
You want to look at the other people a little bit?
Well, I mean, like maybe the school, maybe make it Hogwarts based.
It's just
Something
Hogwarts.
that's.
Yeah, but then is it going to be like CWE? Like we don't want it to be like that. I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. I say this and I've barely seen it.
I want it to be like, yeah, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Super Bowl ads. Did you see a couple companies have opted out of doing Super Bowl ads? Yeah, and they're just going to kind of, they're making an ad to focus on vaccinations, I think is what it was, right? Like Coke, Pepsi, I think Bud, a couple of them said, nah, we're good.
And they're donating the money they would have spent on it to, first responders and in the back. Yeah, that's cool. Good for them.
Also, that we already got an early leak of an ad for Uber Eats with Wayne's World reuniting.
Really?
Yeah, so that's going to be a Super Bowl commercial for you this weekend. Check that out.
Nice.
They don't look great though, from what I saw. I didn't watch the ad. I just saw like a picture, and I was like, I don't know if we needed this. Like I liked getting the reunited apart, but I don't know if I need this. So
I see.
Possible title leak for the new Matrix film, Matrix Revelations. Nah. Did this come out in 2000? Like, come on, we gotta do better than that. No,
is it biblical that they're going like a?
Probably, if they're trying to bring people back. I don't know.
Gotcha. Spoiler.
Spoiler to a 30-year-old movie. Also, the late-breaking news of yesterday, all the talk was about Evan Rachel Wood coming out and alleging her abuse by Marilyn Manson, which I guess for the last few years she'd kind of been talking about being a survivor of abuse and things like that, but never really got specific. Now she's saying, no, it's Marilyn Manson. He groomed me at a young age. He did all these horrible things to me because, they got together. She was 19 when they were dating, and he was like 38 or something like that. So apparently he was very abusive to her, and she was in that relationship for a while. And right away, the record label that he's on currently said, see ya, dropped him. So
no kidding.
Yeah, so a lot of big news coming out of that, developing, and I want to say, I didn't have specifics on it, but there might have been other people who are also now kind of coming out of the woodwork and saying, oh yeah, I had experiences with them as well. So,
Aha.
so not
So,
necessarily movie related, but Evan Rachel Wood is an
sure,
actor,
sure.
so I thought it was
All right.
pertinent. I think that's all my news. I had a lot of news. Go ahead. Do you have anything else?
The only things I had that you didn't have was Army Hammer has left the Godfather, the behind the
Oh,
scenes film that they're making, or he's out of that now too. Just made me think, man, rewind 3 years when people were begging for that guy to play Green Lantern.
yeah.
And like his career's like, all right, if he books it, and then it wasn't, and then there was like the back and forth on socials with the guys teasing, maybe he will, and things are going to go so great. And since then, not so much, and then his career gone.
Get the other Winklevi to be in it.
Is the other guy? Mandalorian begins filming April 2021. That's where they're
Ooh.
aiming right now to get started. Let's do it, baby. I mean, we know the timeline, so we already kind of know when that's coming. But that's actually a year from now. We'll be dropping reviews on Mandalorian season 3, probably.
Yes.
It's fine by
It's a
me.
shame. Yeah, it's a shame it's a little later than usual, but we're getting the Book of Boba Fett, so
Yeah, it's good reasons for why. It's not like it's just delayed.
they have a crammed schedule anyways with all the Marvel and everything too. So yeah, we're not going to be missing anything.
And the last thing I had is that on Disney Plus, the Mighty Duck series that we chatted about earlier. Maybe that was off air. Either way, March 26th, that's going to drop onto Disney Plus.
Okay, we know what you'll be doing. We'll have a review,
Watching
whatever that
Game
next one
Changers,
is.
baby.
Yeah.
Game Changers, Mighty Ducks. I am intrigued by this with Gordon Bombay. Like, now he's the shop owner and he's been out of hockey. Sometimes I ponder how horrible the script of Mighty Ducks was. Like, when it ends, the
Yeah.
first one, he goes to try out for the NHL at age 30, whatever. That makes me think, all right, so at my age now, it's like, I used to play ball back in the day. Let me just go try out with kids half my age.
Yeah. My wife gets mad at me because I do that all the time. I'm watching sports and I'm like, I could walk on and do this. Look at this guy. Like, look at his fitness level. Like, I could walk on right now. Like, because we were watching some golf over the weekend. She's like, damn, that dude's kind of chubby. And I was like, yeah. I said, I could walk out there and play right now, probably on the PGA Tour.
You see my top golf scores, baby?
Yeah,
I could be out
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, folks, for Hollywood News. Now we're moving on to DC discussion.
I don't think I had anything really for DC. The only thing I had was the Peacemakers thing earlier. Oh, and we got the release date. Release date for Justice League, March 18th.
March 18th.
I know you were pumped. You're pumped. Go ahead. Gush over it.
I'm pumped that we have a release date. There's rumors that he might throw it into theaters, so pump the brakes. That might happen, that he throws the whole thing into theaters. They gave us like The Fallen, and three different posters, and the posters looked pretty badass. I mean, it's just... The intriguing part to me is, did you see the Mother Box meal kits that you can get?
No.
You can get a Mother Box meal kit. It comes to your door. You'll have it by the 18th so that you can dine while watching on HBO Max.
You are getting this. You've already pre-ordered yours.
Not at this price, man. $130. So the description is it's $130 for two, or how much do you think it is for four people?
$300.
$260.
Oh, what a deal!
So I was like, oh, great, thanks for that. It has like an ocean trench one where you'll get some type of fish. It has the big belly burger box where, of course, you'll get a burger, and then it has like a mysterious one where you get some food in there. But yeah, there you go, folks. Justice League is dropping March 18th. That's the news there. I do hope they drop it in the theaters for the old IMAX-aroo.
Can I tell you? It's funny.
Yep.
There was a Superman Funko advertisement this week that came out, and immediately I opened the thing and I was like, maybe I'll buy this for Brian. I'll pre-order it. But when I saw the ad on Facebook, it said Brian Stever likes this, and I was like, he already knows about it. He probably already bought it.
Spoiler: I did not buy it already, but
you saw
I know when you speak of. Yep, I do. Okay, what's this kid's name? Jay LaCargo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did write that down. Where is that? I wrote that down.
I did have
DC News, damn it.
Yeah, he's been cast as Tim Drake for Titans season 3. Buddy, you got to catch up on Titans. This is one thing.
I do, because I can't remember if I finished season 2. I don't remember. Maybe I did, and it's just been too long since I watched it. Mm-hmm. But because in the article it said, spoiler alert, it said that our current Robin is going to become Red Hood, and I was like, oh, I didn't remember that we like officially knew that.
We didn't. Is he going Red Hood? Really?
Yeah, that's what it said. That's what it said in the article. Yeah. And then it said this guy, this Jay LaCurgo or whatever, he's actually in the Batman movie as well. So they're like, is there going to be a tie to that somehow? Like,
Shut the front door. Interesting.
yeah, but they said he's in the trailer, I guess. He's one of the face painted gang that like Batman's fighting. So
See, in Titans we already had what's his name from Game of Thrones play Batman horribly. We didn't like it.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
He
Yeah.
was older.
Hmm.
Anyway, speaking of the Batman, they are on schedule to wrap up in March. By March, they should be done, and then they'll go into post. So, with all the delays that has incurred, we're finally seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel there.
We're not getting it till 22, right?
Correct.
Because originally I think it was supposed to be 21, which
Yeah, we should be doing
would
a
have been
review of it
nice.
now.
Yeah,
The
nice.
Flash, the other movie that's been, is this ever going to happen? It has an April of 2021 start date.
We'll see. We'll see.
Still with Ezra Creepo Miller going to be the Flash.
I can't wait to see the set photos that are going to leak of Michael Keaton. That's all anybody's going to care about. I feel bad for Ezra Miller because no one's going to care about him being in this movie. They're going to be like, oh, Michael Keaton's back? Yes.
In the biggest, yeah, I already knew that news for you and I and people that work with us for the most part of the week, but folks lost their minds over that Senator Leahy has been in 5 Batman movies.
Yeah, why
I
was this
saw
a thing? Just because he's president pro tem now, people would like know his name, I guess. That's why.
Yeah, so he's third in line of the presidency, and I saw it online, and people were going nuts. And even my wife was like, "Whoa, do you know that?" I was like, "Babe, I've talked to this dude, just
Yeah.
for where we work, and maybe that's
I think
why."
we joked once upon a time about trying to get him on the show to talk about it.
Sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure. Huge Batman guy. That's where it's all stemmed from. He's been in 5 different Batman movies. Of course, he did die. I've spoken to him about how he died in BVS. When they blew up the Capitol, he was in the Capitol. So
Yeah.
either way, I don't know. I saw that. I was like, yeah, we've known that, but then that's just the life we live. So
Yeah, I think he's just in the news more with the president pro tem, and he actually went to the hospital earlier this week, so hopefully he's doing well. But yeah, I mean, his most memorable role was the one where he's with Heath Ledger. That scene. He actually has
oh
a
yeah,
scene with Ledger and has some lines, so that's
yeah.
where most people would know him from. Yeah.
Poor choice of words, Rachel. That wraps up DC discussion. On to Marvel Minute.
Marvel minutes. Let's see. I do have 2 things, I think. Ryan Coogler. That's right. This just happened yesterday.
This is the big
Signed
news.
a 5-year deal with Disney TV, and the first project is going to be a Wakanda series for Disney Plus. I don't know what this is about necessarily, but I like the idea. I think this is going to be one of those things where they were talking about the sequel and they didn't know where they were going yet, and they maybe feel like they need to fill the gap. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, let's use
Okay.
this show to figure out how we get to part 2 now that Chadwick has passed. So
Okay.
maybe that's what it's going to be, is like, let's focus on the side characters in Black Panther, Shuri and things like that, and we'll build them up more to get to part 2 where now Chadwick is gone and we have to kind of explain that. So maybe they
Okay.
just needed a little more time to do it and stretch it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. Their timeline is tight now. But we do know that Black Panther 2, since they put that on that timeline. But
Well, and I'm
but it would be
assuming
good.
now you're going to see Black Panther 2 be pushed back even further if they're
Oh,
going to give
okay.
us a
Well then,
series.
yeah.
Like I'm assuming this series will come before it, and then they'll maybe move the movie back again. That's my
Okay.
assumption.
I would love to dive into just the world of Wakanda, just the village and the city, and and get into that could be cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Also, the other thing I saw this week was Paul Bettany was on some podcast talking, and he came out in the podcast about how there was supposed to be genitalia on Vision originally,
Okay.
and that Joss Whedon was a big pushing for he needs to have a dick, basically. Like, I want to
Really?
see Vision's dick, and this was a Joss Whedon thing. And Kevin Feige was like, "Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not going down that road." So
Whedon is just a creepo.
he's a
the,
weirdo, and
the
he's
things we've
tried to
learned about
ruin
this.
multiple things, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Alrighty.
So yeah, that was interesting. But I didn't see anything else Marvel. Did you?
The only other Marvel that I want to say to folks is those of you that quit on WandaVision after episodes like 1, 2, maybe even 3, you need to come back. Because after
Yeah.
episode 4,
Yeah.
and those of you that's like, I don't like it, it's not superhero-y, we don't know what's going on. Guys, patience, number 1.
Yes.
And number 2, you need to come back around and watch the 4, because episode 4 really helps things out and just, it like answers and opens questions all at the same time. I loved it.
Sure. Sure. And this is one of those things where I think this adds to the debate. We're going to get to our final review of it once the show's done, so I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
necessarily dive too deep here, but this is one of those things where it brings up the debate about, do you like the weekly drop? Do you like the binging? Because the weekly drop to me almost is better with this because we're made to wait and made to stew over the questions. And
Right.
every week there's multiple articles about, did you see this Easter egg and what does this mean and whatever. So we're really able to deep dive on these episodes and dissect them. And then once you get to 4, it is a nice payoff. Whereas if you were binging it, it might not have that same kind of payoff because you're like, oh,
True.
I just got to this in 1 hour of time because they're only like 20-minute episodes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of like the weekly drop for this, and I think it makes sense and it gets people talking. And yeah, we definitely get some references to some old stuff and a little bit more answers in episode 4. So yeah, stick with it. But if you jumped off already, screw you. We don't like you anyway. So
Time to go forward.
going forward is actually very, very light this week. I didn't see much in here. There is a theatrical release called Falling. I saw the trailer a couple weeks ago. I decided not to talk about it on the show, but Viggo Mortensen, Laura Linney, Lance Henriksen, looks okay, whatever. So that's in the theaters. I'm assuming it's also going to be a VOD release. I'm not sure. But the big release of the weekend that we are looking forward to watching is Malcolm and Marie. We're finally getting Malcolm and Marie on Netflix this Friday, so look for a review of that next week. Hopefully we will both be able to check that out. As well as the Super Bowl, of course, this weekend. We'll do our regular discussion about what we thought about if there's trailers or commercials, things like that. I don't know if there's anything. Haven't really read any articles like, oh, well, you're going to see this trailer or whatever. So hopefully we will see something new that we haven't seen before. Yeah. And then Black Lightning returns also this week to CW. So if you're still on that, season 4, I think that's the last season as well, right?
And even Black Lightning.
Yeah, even Black Lightning. So there you go.
It is the final season. Yeah.
Yeah, not much in the going forward. So kind of a light week. Maybe I'll catch up on some of the other stuff I had on my watch list. I have a couple shows that I started, but I didn't kind of give you guys my thoughts yet. But once I finish those up, I'll give you some reviews. Yeah, so that's it for this week.
All I know is I out-reviewed Tony this week. You're welcome.
And that's probably the way it's going to be for the next couple months because I've
got time.
Yeah, I'm going to be tired, working a lot. You're going to have plenty of time. So I mean, you'll be tired as well, but you'll have more time than me. So yeah, you guys might have to settle in for more Brian in the next couple months.
I fear I'm going to wake a sleeping dragon though here, and you're going to come back with a vengeance when you finally get
the challenge has been thrown.
Saturday Night Live this week, Dan Levy and Phoebe Bridger coming up this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. And then Patreon folks, don't forget to jump on there as low as $1 a month. I just wanted to reiterate that one again for Take Two Podcast. On Thursday, you get the poll. Don't forget, vote on the poll. Tell your friends, share it onto all of your socials as well. Have them vote, get those numbers up high for whatever we're chit-chatting about. Saturday is when we drop the Superhero Secret Cinema. Jump on there, questions, talk, converse. Figure it all out together. Try and figure out some of these tougher choices as we go along. And then this Sunday, Spotlight should be returning. We have a good Spotlight for you guys. I don't want to stamp that down because our timelines are a little crazy at the moment. So bear with us, folks. But we should have a Spotlight for you guys coming out this Sunday. Buddy, do you have a Super Bowl pick?
I think it's going to be a repeat for Mahomes. That's what I think. Okay. I think I'm choosing youth. I'm choosing youth over the GOAT. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There is the old adage, never pick against Brady unless you're playing the Giants. So because our co-host, Roy of the Realm there, is such a big Bucks fan, I guess I'll just pull. At this point, it's just like pot committed that Brady's the best ever. It's like, if he gets one more, who cares? So have at it. Go Bucks. Raise the flags. Fire the cannons.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just like I'm not really that excited for the matchup at all. So it's like, I mean, I'll watch it, but
I love Mahomes. I'm a huge Mahomes fan. I mean,
he's a good player. He's a good player. Yeah.
Sure. That's it for episode 225. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya.